Good to go. Harry, a dominant tournament for India so far. What can we expect from you this evening?
Just I said, now that league matches is a different tournament, now that there are knockout matches. So we must focus what we have done, and same thing we should continue what we have done, the good things in the remaining last 5 matches in the pooled matches.
So recognising those good things, yeah, that's what we would expect. But what threats did Japan pose to you?
They are very fast. They always wait for the breakup, and their counter, they are very fast. And they on run, they can hit a ball inside the goal. So that's a threat they have, and I think my defender should aware these are the threats the Japanese always throw the opponents.
We'll be looking forward to seeing that. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Jai Hind.
Phil, we have Siegfried. Siegfried, we spoke earlier this week and you said that India were a different class, I think the words were you used to me. They are obviously dominant, but what are you looking for from your team this evening?
Well, I want to see that we try to deny them playing space because they are physically very fit. They are very skillful. So what we have to do, we have to keep pressure on them, but in certain areas, because if we will go for a full press, they will overrun us. And that happened in the group match, and it will not happen today.
We look forward to seeing your success with that. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
going, nice ball, moves it out, shot comes in, and that is the goal. Manpreet under the reverse, then cross he goes. And while Japan left puffing and puffing, India far too good for them.
Free-scoring India played their way into their fourth ever Asian Champions Trophy semi-final, scoring 5.4 goals per game. They had 3 hat-tricks in the pool. Japan snuck into their first Asian Champions Trophy semi-final since 2013, thanks to improving performances in the pool and comfortable wins versus Korea and Oman. After a fascinating semi-final between Pakistan and Malaysia, won by Pakistan on a shootout, the Sultan Qaboos Sports Complex, the crowd are ready for much more action. It's still 29 degrees C here. It's just gone past 9 p.m. in the evening. The humidity has fallen away to just 54%. India and Japan are ready to try and take that last place in the final. Let's hear from Harindra Singh, the India coach.
Harry, a dominant tournament for India so far. What can we expect from you this evening?
Yes, I said, now that league matches is a different tournament, now the today are knockout matches. So we must focus what we have done, and same thing we should continue what we have done, the good things in the remaining last 5 matches in the pool matches.
So recognising those good things, yeah, that's what we would expect. But what threats did Japan pose to you?
They are very fast. They always wait for the breakup, and their counter, they are very fast. And they on run, they can hit the ball inside the goal. So that's a threat they have, and I think my defender should aware these are the threats the Japanese always throw the opponents.
We'll be looking forward to seeing that. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Jai Hind.
Harindra Singh always got a lot to say and a lot of very, very thoughtful. Let's hear, though, also from the coach that's against him this evening, Japan's Siegfried Ekman.
Siegfried, we spoke earlier this week and you said that India were a different class, I think the words were you used to me. They are obviously dominant, but what are you looking for from your team this evening?
Well, I want to see that we try to deny them playing space, because they are physically very fit. They are very skillful. So what we have to do, we have to keep pressure on them, but in certain areas, because if we will go for a full press, they will overrun us. And that happened in the group match, and it will not happen today.
We look forward to seeing your success with that. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So head-to-head, well, India have won 11 on the trot. They really are favourites for this one. The last Japan win was in 2013 at the Asian Champions Trophy. It was a 2-1 win. They played twice this year in New Zealand in January. 4-2 and 6-0 to India. In Jakarta at the Asian Games, 8-0 to India. Here in Muscat in the pool, 9-0 to India. The odds are stacked against Japan in this one. The hot favourites are the boys in blue. 2 flags rather limply flying in the dull evening wind here in Muscat. There is a bit of a wind going around, but not much. Krishan Patak, the sub-goalkeeper for India, youngster, looking on Akashdeep. What form will he be in tonight? Srijesh has let in both goals for India in this competition against Pakistan, and that screamer against Korea. Harindra Singh passing comment to 2 stars within his team, Harmanpreet and Lalit. Japan know full well what is up against them today. They enjoyed themselves against Oman. Kitazato back, that is important for them. Kenji Kitazato adds a real flavour to their front row, and he's dangerous, and India know that full well. The umpires lead the way. It's Japan in the red and India in the blue. These 2 teams have met each other a number of times this year. India have every time won the way. Started on that tour in January, comfortably beating Japan. The pool matches in Jakarta went solely India's way before Japan won gold. And here in Muscat, who will make their way to another final?
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up as respect to the
have
national
been to a
anthem
final
of both
before,
the
former
countries.
silver medalists at this level. And now have the national anthems.
The national anthem of India. national anthem of Japan. Thank you, and wishing both the teams good luck in the semi-final match. India versus Japan.
India and Japan are going toe-to-toe for the final. The boys in blue are being led forward by Manpreet into their half and ready to go. They take on the red tonight of Japan. Srijesh in goal, of course. Harmanpreet has 6 goals for the competition so far. 22-year-old Jarmanpreet has been exciting down the right-hand side. Manpreet in the centre of midfield. Gurjant scored a beauty in their last match in the pool. Akashdeep has been in fine form once more. Harmanpreet, well, the former Mumbai man, 6 goals for the competition and a hat-trick last time out for India against Korea. His drag flicking is a real weapon for this Indian team. He has over 80 caps now, a wealth of experience despite still being in his early 20s, and a danger for Japan tonight. Yoshikawa, well, starts in goal again this evening. Koji Yamasaki scored against Oman, a lovely stop and hit in the top of the D for them. Riku Tamura picked up a man of the match a couple of games ago. An exciting youngster. Matani's the captain. Seren Tanaka will dominate the midfield for them. And there is the number 20, Masaki Ohashi, on his 60th appearance. 5 games out of 5 here at the Asian Champions Trophy. No goals, and he has stood out for Cedric D'Souza as a player, a defender that Japan need to be wary of this evening. Peter Wright of South Africa on the left-hand side. Nazbi Kamarudin of Malaysia on the right. There, your 2 umpires who will be overlooking proceedings. Bruce Bell, nice smile from the camera for the camera there, Bruce, the English umpire, overlooking proceedings in the video umpires box. We're ready to go here. It's the semi-final, the second semi-final of the Hero Asian Champions Trophy 2018. Pakistan already in the final, their 5th one. Both India and Japan want the chance to go for gold. For Japan, it would be their 2nd final in Hero Asian Champions Trophy history. For India, their 4th. Cedric D'Souza, former Indian coaches alongside me. Matani breaks down the left-hand side. Cedric, I'll bring you in a second as Harmanpreet brings the ball away. Cedric, expectations for what should be a fiery encounter?
Well, definitely, Dan, you know, the most important thing in this game is the individual flair of India versus the tactical Japanese team. We're going to play a defensive strategy, waiting for opportune times, putting pressure only in certain areas, and then being on the break. Speed in movement of the ball and counterattacks is going to be on the cards, as well as a patient build-up and with goal ball speed.
Getting into the knockout stages now, of course, only 2 knockout games in Hero Asian Champions Trophy, but mentality-wise, with what's to come in the rest of the year for Harendra Singh, a vital chance to see the character and the mentality of his team. Into the D goes Manpreet, still going Manpreet, penalty corner. The talisman in the centre of midfield for this Indian team, and Harendra Singh is high-fiving anyone who will come near him. Delighted with the start.
Well, a great fake by Manpreet. He goes into the circle, attacks the space, comes inside, and Riku plays that ball actually across the baseline, and that's a penalty corner. Deliberately played across the baseline is a penalty corner. But a great attacking space finding the opportunity. The fake actually made the entire movement, and a penalty corner for India.
Well, Harmanpreet, the only real option on the top of the D, as you might expect. Gurjant left-hand side, Akashdeep and Lalit on the right. Here comes Harmanpreet! And he's put it low, down to the left-hand side, and missing everything.
Well, Harmanpreet actually goes, he opens his arms and flicks the ball past the right-hand side, the stick side of the keeper, and had too much on it, too much weight on the right-hand side, and the ball goes out.
India will restart inside their 23 as Japan crash the ball away. Down the line it goes. Tucked beautifully by Lalit, who cuts the ball back to the top of the D, and Akashdeep wasn't expecting such quality delivery there. Away comes Ochai, scored against Oman in that 5-0 comfortable win for Japan in their closing pool encounter.
Well, if we just look at the first 3 minutes, the most vital thing they're seeing is Japanese really slowing the game down, waiting for the Indians to put pressure and then playing out front.
India will come away. Harmanpreet turning back on himself and knowing that he has support, and that's so important for the centre-back. Jarmanpreet, Kitazato, who returns to this Japanese lineup this evening. Now Nilakanta Sharma, who has been enjoying his competition here in Muscat, and a chance to play himself into World Cup thoughts for Harindra Singh. Jarmanpreet looking for the ball. Across jumps the number 25 for Japan, Shota Yamada. Nilakanta couldn't quite get hold of the ball as quickly as he wanted, then lifts it through. Zindana, who was stood at the top of the D. Siegfried Aikman doesn't look overly happy currently, Cedric.
Well, you know, he wants them to control their play and not just commit the foul or you know, throw your stick or throw the all-or-nothing tackle.
The ball goes with the attacking team that time, Shota Yamada.
We talked about his patience by his defenders not to basically commit too early, wait. And that's what he was making his, you know, a long face there and dejected.
Mandeep Strong tries to find the foot of Ohashi, does so. Yamada, well, it's probably sensible, but a bit of sport, a bit of gamesmanship, just taking the ball away.
Well, a foot there, and since the whistle hadn't actually gone, he tried to start the game. You've got to play to the whistle, that's completely all right.
Varun misses his first touch, then finds Surrender, who tries to pick the ball into Nilakanta. Mandeep was barging and pushing and shoving. It was going both ways with Zendana. And Mandeep gets the whistle from the umpire.
Well, the ball played into the circle, deflects towards Mandeep. Mandeep trying to post in front of the defender. Defender strong enough, and Mandeep calls the foul.
The aerial ball goes against Kazuki Yoneda.
Well, what's good to see is the strikers trying to get in front of the defenders instead of being in their shadow.
Come India once more up to the 23. Ball from Manpreet. Jarmanpreet looks for the top of the D. Slightly fortunate as Nilakanta picks up, but then is quickly stripped by Hoshi. And India once more can come forward. Manpreet happy to go all the way back to Varun. A bouncing, difficult ball for the Junior World Cup winner. He finds Hardik, this superb youngster who is very much trying to play himself into the possession of a regular India shirt in this squad. Jarmanpreet works hard to get the ball back. The kindest of passes from Varun. Lovely turn, Varun, quick thinking, quick in manoeuvring.
Well, they can't find the space in the center. They're trying to go on the wide, which is a good ploy by India. Lovely low cross ball across the entire defense. An aerial ball from defense, transferring from the defense into the attack.
Jarmanpreet was ahead of Japanese defender there, but it goes against him. We're live here in Muscat, the Eurasian Champions Trophy of 2018. It is, of course, the semi-final stage. As we saw Pakistan, after it being 4-1 up, they were pegged back to 4-all. Cedric D'Souza couldn't believe it, and then Pakistan took it 3-1 in the shootout. Long ball crashed in. Srijesh stands watching. Lakanta brings it away. Varun all the way out, and India. They need to be careful of the counter-attack with Japan.
Well, the Indian defense actually, when the ball comes bobbing in the circle, are doing a good job at putting their body behind that stick. So if it hits a foot, it's a penalty corner, but if it misses completely, they're lurking forward on the white to just tap the ball in.
Gurinder. India patient. Japan dropping to half court, just the number 21, Wakuri, thinking about going as a +1. Akashdeep. Quickly in by Chingling Sana, did well in support.
Well, you know, Harmanpreet is trying to get that ball to crush it inside. The Japanese catching the lines very well.
Here come India once more. Akashdeep battling. Gets dispossessed. Shoti Yamada throws it long. Matsumoto scored against Oman. Tries to work his way out, but quicker back was Cottagit, who tends to work away in the shadows, I think is fair to say about him. He's a player that often has his best games when you barely know he's on the pitch. Here he is once more.
Well, a couple of Indian players like that. You've got Chingling Sana and Ilakanta does the same.
Lovely in quickly by Sumit. Mixed tournament, this one for Sumit. Cedric, what would you like to see him improve on in these knockout games?
I think the most important thing for him is to try and move the defender before he passes the ball, and he should give the ball a little earlier. He holds the ball slightly too long.
Tanaka, quick ball. Goes against Japan. Miss, and here comes Akashdeep with pace and space. Back, sorry, reversed it, cross. I thought it hit the back stick of the number 29, Zendana, but instead it was off him and out of play legally. 6 minutes 13 left to go in the first. India probing down the right-hand side. Gurjant turns into the cross. 16 given.
Well, every time India gets that ball, look, we'll come back to that, but the crash ball trying to go along the baseline for a tip-in is hit wide. But every time India gets the ball in the pockets, you can see them attacking the space and trying to create something for a tip-in on the far post.
The last two games have been a 17-0 aggregate between these two teams. You would not believe it with the start that Japan have had here. Thumbs up from Yamasaki. Japan, Ozawa gets them moving, quickly stripped. Cottagit there again. Didn't have the greatest of games against Malaysia. His movement to the ball wasn't brilliant. Good save as the Japanese goalkeeper closed down Gurjant. Got a hammering from his own player, Yoshikawa.
Well, Gurjant picks that ball on the reverse. He knows his best angle. He just has to sidestep the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper comes out very well and closes out the angle. The ball hits him on his body. All Gurjant had to do was one more step, change the angle and smash it in. A lovely ball inside there. One more step to his left, and keeper had already committed. And he had a goal at his mercy.
Had visions of the goal he scored against Korea when he stuck it in the top left-hand corner. This time, though, the goalkeeper was equal to it, out much, much quicker.
Well, you know, when you're under pressure and the goalkeeper is a couple of meters ahead of you, it's difficult to beat him unless it goes past his shoulders. But if it's on line, it hits him on the body. If he was on the post, if he was on the baseline, that ball would go flying in.
Cedric should know, former goalkeeper. Indian camps back in the mid to late 70s. Then went on to coach India Greece, now Austria. Japanese player down on the far left-hand side. The stretcher has come on. And off he goes, it's Matsumoto. Matsumoto. Unrelated, the Matsumotos, but both scored against Oman. He also set up the first for
well, the crash ball from Gurinder actually hits him on the ankle.
Akashdeep picking up deep, gets moving quickly through the tackle of Yoneda, goes back. That's intelligent play by Akashdeep. Jarmanpreet eventually goes all the way back, and Harmanpreet can utilise the space. Lovely crash ball into the D. Lalit picks up, tries to get the shot away with the push-come flick.
Well, the crash ball comes in, deflects off a Japanese player. Lalit gets that free ball, tries to hit on the turn and misses it. But the issue was how to create that space from a crash ball and how to capitalize on a rebound.
Lalit and Akashdeep interplay between them. Good power down the line from Chingleng Sana. Sheeta, fresh out of a battle 2 days ago with Rashad Al-Fazari. Leaves the ball alone and moves away. He's got another power packed forward to mark this evening in Gurjant. India looking for their third ever Eurasian Champions Trophy victory. Pakistan are too, though, and Pakistan are already securely into the final. How impressed, Cedric, were you with how Pakistan kept their cool in the shootout, having been 4-1 up, get pegged back, and then still keep it together?
Well, they're a mature team, and they actually showed some sort of maturity and experience in the shootout. You know, for a team to come winning 4-1 and then to draw the match in the last quarter and come back and win the shootout shows that they're getting into their groove for the World Cup.
Practice, of course, the shootout ahead of any potential need in Bhubaneswar. Down the line it goes, Matsumoto again. Thought about the full press, but he's all on his own. He's out as a +1 from the half court and realises and retreats.
Well, you know, the Indian team, whenever they can't go forward, they drop a pass or they look for the guard position, which is really good because they're not just going to crash the ball into a wall of red. They're using their head and trying to find spaces and create the spaces, like that aerial ball. Beautifully played for Manpreet on the white.
Manpreet got into a very high position there, into the 23. Spotted it very early.
Was good vision by the defense also to see the gap available and to play it into that space.
Jarmanpreet happy just to watch the NGC player. Surrender. The elder statesman in this team now. Jarmanpreet down the right-hand side. Whistle goes, India ball. Minute 35 left in the quarter, still goalless here. Japan improved from the 9-0 loss in the pool. Picked up quickly by Dilpreet. In it goes to Mandeep. He turns, he shoots. Oh, it sneaks wide. A warning shot from India.
Well, a great steal by Dilpreet. He looked for Mandeep. Mandeep turns, and on the turn, he doesn't even look up. It's absolute brilliance. But the most important thing was his quickness in his turn, and without even looking, firing at goal, just off target.
Jarmanpreet with 50 seconds left to go.
Well, that's the strength of India. When they get into the circle, they can make something out of nothing. They can manufacture fouls. They can create half chances, which can score off. This is the strength of this Indian striking zone.
Just bobbles in, and Akashdeep was rather unfortunate there because letter of the law, it would always go with the defender when it's thrown in between two players, and he just happened to be in there. Now the break, Dilpreet, he's got Mandeep ahead, that's it though. Puts it on a foot. India weren't rushing forward, they've only got 10 seconds left in the quarter.
Well, that's the action of Harmanpreet. He has a long crash ball and great vision, and he's got to get that ball inside the circle as quickly as possible.
Well, Japan have worked incredibly hard to keep India at bay. It is 0-0 after the first 15 minutes. Both coaches will be fairly happy with how things have gone here in the second semi-final. India 0, Japan 0. Cedric, I said both coaches would be relatively happy. As we see the highlights, who will be the happier?
Well, I think at the moment, definitely the Japanese coach, Siegfried Eichmann. The thing is that they are actually playing very well. Look at that closing down by the goalkeeper, absolutely super. Being patient and waiting for the opportune time and putting pressure on that ball, not only all the time, but at specific moments. India here really getting that opportunity of fantastic spin by Mandeep, and flushes the ball just out. But that's good to see by the youngsters, taking their opportunities in the circle.
It's India 0, Japan 0. 3 shots from India, none for Japan. 6 circle entries in favour of the world number 5. Here at the Eurasian Champions Trophy of 2018 in Muscat, India, after the first 15 minutes, are being held by Japan, who are much, much improved from the pool stages. Over 70% possession for India in the Japanese half. But Siegfried Eichmann will know full well that his team are much better organised this evening. He was very aware of how good Harinder Singh's team were against them in that 9-0. He said they were just too good.
Well, I think they gave too much space, and you can't give the Indian strikers any space. They committed too many all-or-nothing tackles, and the thing was that they were not as composed as they are today. They're holding the lines, they're covering the gaps, and they're being patient.
Shoti Yamada, down the line it goes, picked up very well by Wakuri. Not an easy ball to collect, then the long ball through on the reverse, or the attempted long ball through, picked up and released quickly by Kottajit. He is once more.
We were talking about Kottajit being a player who's not, he doesn't show too much on the ground, but he does a fantastic role. Every time a player goes to commit, Kottajit cuts the through pass. He doesn't allow the ball to come through him. That's great defensive work by Kottajit. It's a great double team. One taking the space, one taking the man.
Manpreet, hit ball into the middle, well picked up by Riku Tamura. Of course, Kottajit as well. The other thing, he adds to the team. He's a double Olympian. So has that knowledge, has that experience, has that grittiness to his play that comes with years and at the highest level.
Yeah, you know, you need experienced players in every team, and he shows that experience at the right opportune time, especially in defense.
High ball to Jarmanpreet, who steps inside that time, gets the decision into the D. The ball goes. Flashes across Lalit, who commits a foul.
When Harmanpreet is out on the bench taking a breather, Kottajit is the actual perfect ploy for him, because he comes in and takes on the role as a defender, and then Varun becomes the free man.
India have the ball. They go all the way back out to Jarmanpreet once more. Harinder to Kottajit. Shown the line, took it, Nilakanta. Hasn't asked too many questions, happy to just drop the ball back off to Varun. In this sort of game, of the players that India have left at home, who would you be looking at to strengthen this team in knockout hockey as Hardeep comes forward? Jarmanpreet will come back to that question in a second. Oh, the swing and the miss, Nilakanta. Still in the D, it's still around the penalty spot, and then lifted away towards Jarmanpreet, who might feel aggrieved that it wasn't blown for dangerous play there, and Japan have the ball.
Well, the crash ball by Jarmanpreet goes off a defender, goes off Shota Yamada's stick. The ball bounces back to Nilakantha. He takes a shot but doesn't get a full hit at it. It flops and it goes wide. But the question is, they're putting pressure on the ball, which is great, especially on the keeper when the ball is crashed in.
Captain to captain, Manpreet flicks the ball up to Matani, and things just calm down. Cedric, I'll go back to that. Who do you think in knockout hockey would make a big difference within this squad that India have brought? And we know they brought players for development and youngsters, and that is what the aim is here.
Well, I think, you know, it's a question of what Harinder Singh really requires in the squad in terms of does he need a penalty corner flicker? Then that probably will bring in Rupinder Pal. The question also is, Bilder Rakrai, is he fit enough? Because he's really a strong player who's very quick.
Gurjant turns reverse in the bottom corner. What a finish from Gurjant. He's smiling once more. A superstar, a super finish, and Gurjant puts India one up.
What does Gurjant do on this one? He moves the angle, moves the goalkeeper to the first bar and crushes the ball to the second bar. Look at it. Goalkeeper moving in, second bar open, bang in. He moved the goalkeeper because he moved his angle and changed the point of attack.
The goalkeeper will have seen his goal the other day against Korea, where he, on the tomahawk, stuck it in the top left-hand corner, and you can see now Yoshikawa is guarding that top corner. Gurjant just puts the tomahawk in the opposite bottom corner. An excellent finish from a player who is enjoying his hockey currently. Scored against Japan, of course, in the pool stages. Here comes Akashdeep. And he sneaks it in the corner, but it's gone off the pitch.
Well, Akash actually came towards the circle, tried to play the ball across the goal. I think the ball has gone off the back of his stick. And the back stick given. For me, when you come onto that position there, why try and hit that hit when there's no pressure on you? Why don't you spin, bring the ball in the forehand and play it across the goal?
Experience of a world-class coach. Josh comes in once more. Mandeep spots the opportunity and snipes towards the ball, but it's easily cut out. Now India have another chance down the right-hand side. Sumit is suddenly swarmed around him by Japanese defenders. And India again will restart high up in the right-hand corner for Japan. Out it comes to Kottajit. Crashing ball in, lifts into Mandeep, who won't be overly delighted with the delivery.
Well, that crash ball comes to Kottajit. He has the time, he has the space. Why doesn't he attack the circle? He tries to put that ball inside for a tip-in or for a deflection by Mandeep. You know, that's the opportunity. You find space, attack that space, come in the circle, force the defender to come to you, and then play it.
Circle entries, India 10, Japan not one at the moment. Srijesh has had a quiet night, he'll like to keep it that way. Malaysia opened up with a 3-0 loss. Sorry, Japan opened up a 3-0 loss against Malaysia. And knowing that loss to India, they will want to forget. And then a draw against Pakistan and beating the home team Oman, who heroic once more against Korea earlier on, but couldn't finish off the game strongly, so lost 3-1 and ended up 6th. Sumit snatches a free hit just outside the D. Save from Yoshikawa. Danger of Dilpreet.
Well, that's real good thinking and quick hands in the circle by Dilpreet.
Harmanpreet knows he has surrender outside him. Instead goes back to Gurinder, another player who almost looks like he models himself on Kottajit to me.
Look at Dilpreet here, he gets in, he opens up his vision, and then he hits the ball. Normally you look at the ball going to the far side, but hits it to the near post. The goalkeeper does well to trap that ball. Good skill by him.
Kitazawa looking to get the penalty corner, gets the penalty corner. Surrender apologises to everyone around him. India will not review it.
But Kitazawa has that ball, Surrender putting pressure on him, commits himself, engages and commits himself and finds the foot. Kitazawa finds the foot. This is the time you've got to be low and not throw your stick.
Delhi wave rider Surrender Kumar giving away penalty corner. India, be on your guard here. Shoti Yamada. Kirishita. On the two alongside each other. Well, you would assume it will go to Shoti Yamada. Number 25. 70th cap for his country. Plays for Gifu Asahi. Here he is. What a finish that is! Fantastic stuff for Japan. It's 1-1 and it's Wakuri who's got on the score sheet again for the Japanese with a diving finish from the penalty corner. It's 1 apiece.
Well, the ball played to the second castle. Shota Yamada placed that ball brilliantly to the right-hand side, far away, away from the second wave, away from Gurinder. He has no chance, and the ball goes past his left foot for a lovely, lovely diving deflection to the far post. Great thinking, getting the ball behind the waves was what the goal all about.
Well, a beautifully worked goal for Japan on the penalty corner. Curry once more on the score sheet. And it goes from Harmanpreet. He was, of course, the top scorer in the Asian Games as far as Japan were concerned, alongside Kenta Tanaka and Shota Yamada. Harmanpreet, 1 apiece. Surrender dribbles in, and Riku Tamura just cleverly dumps it on a foot. An example of the flair and exciting young team that Japan have. They are really a team for the future. Akashdeep throws it down the line, knows that Lalit will work for him. Akashdeep, the player that drops deep to bring the likes of Lalit and the likes of Gurjant into the game.
Well, Gurjant there in that deep pocket, trying to find, Lalit in that deep pocket, trying to get inside, pressured, keeps the ball, doesn't lose possession.
Akashdeep comes across, Nilakanta scurries. Lovely ball into Akashdeep, who very nearly slipped it through. Once more to Gurjant, no doubt he would have been waiting on the reverse. Harmanpreet has the opportunity to get the ball to the right-hand side very quickly. Jarmanpreet crashed in. Nilakanta reverse. Peter Wright calls it going wide. Difficult to see from that angle.
Well, Jarmanpreet crashes that ball in. The ball bounces up off a defender, and the hit taken by Nilakanta goes off the stick of a defender, which is actually going out, so it's no question of a penalty corner. Had to keep that ball low into the goal.
From Peter Wright. See that so quickly. Jarmanpreet. Whistle goes. Will be asked to take the ball back to where the infringement was from.
Well, Dan, every time they come in the circle, I'll come back to that.
Surrender. They are in the circle. It's still Surrender. He misfires with the ball he was aiming to play into the centre, but Gurjant very nearly got it.
The amount of Indian players right in the front of the goalkeeper, there are 5 or 6 there. There's so much of pressure on that ball, so there's half a chance it's going to go in.
Harmanpreet, stroke of luck as across comes the number 22, Kazuki Yaneda, with the boot. Varel pops up, it's flashed at by Seren Tanaka dangerously, and it's a second penalty corner. So India, of course, before today, they'd earned 21 and scored 11. It's now earned 22, scored 11 at the moment.
Well, Harmanpreet plays that ball to Varun, who crashes that ball in, and Riku deflects that ball off his stick. It rises up. It's dangerous play, but the transfer created that entire movement from the left-hand side to the center, and the crash ball in, changing the point of attack and moving the defense.
Can India put their 23rd penalty corner, the Eurasian Champions Trophy away? Their 12th it would be in the competition. Harmanpreet, the pressure is on you. He's at the top of the D. Manpreet to pull out, here it comes. Oh, it's gone wrong, but Harmanpreet spins again. Wants a penalty corner. Peter Wright agrees with him as the question is asked by Hoshi.
Well, this is the strength of Harmanpreet. He has a fantastic lethal drag flick, but when he doesn't get that entire flick, look at him here. He controls the ball, doesn't give in, finds the foot again, makes a penalty corner. He's got the skill to do it, as an attacker normally does. He's really good as an all-round player.
Now Gurjant and Manpreet have switched. Gurjant to pull out. Not stopped brilliantly into Kirishita, and that blaze is over from Chinglang Sana.
Well, the first wave was trapped it beautifully. The ball bobs up for Chinglang Sana, who has all the time in the world. Ball bouncing, you've got to be low on that ball. You lift your body up and the ball's going to fly over the post. And that's what he does. It had to be more like a baseball shot.
He scored a stunner of a volley against Jaap Stockman, the Dutch goalkeeper, former Dutch goalkeeper in the Hockey India League of 2015 in Mumbai, the Bang Mumbai player. It was, from memory, top goal of the competition. Harmanpreet. One corner given. Surrender. Another crash ball. Where's it bounced? Well, it bounced up onto Gurjant's thigh. Zandana to restart.
Well, Dan, when you talk about the crash balls being played inside the circle, especially when it's transferred from the wides to the center, the important thing is the strikers have to pull. They're standing in the same zones. If they don't lead wider, it becomes difficult for, it becomes easy for the Japanese to trap that ball.
Nader played it down the line. It falls kindly to Manpreet, who does very, very nicely to find Harmanpreet. Now Lalit, very, very deep once more. India at times being forced to drop deep to pick up ball. Here comes Nilakanta, busy, then stops and decides Hardik is the best option nearest to him. Harmanpreet line ball, look at that for a lead. But it just falls away from Dilpreet.
Well, both teams are actually not allowing the direct transfer so easily. They're actually keeping the ball in one zone itself.
Hardik, bit of luck for India, and then a shove on Hardik by Seren Tanaka. Experience on inexperience. Nader comes across and gets a boot on the ball, stopping Manpreet, slowing Manpreet. India are congested once more. Manpreet throws it in it, and he can go again. Has to go 5 before he plays it into the D. Deemed to have done so. The crowd cheer. It isn't a goal. Don't get too excited. There was no touch off a blue shirt of India in the circle in the D, and it has to.
Well, you look at that ball, it's coming right through the post, right to the center of the goal. An Indian player has to post up, has to be in those lines. Everybody in the same lines. The ball just goes in.
Nilakanta into Seren Tanaka. India with their tails up here. Varun, that was fairly fortunate. Now Manpreet. That time not fortunate, and Nader can come away. No one really ahead of play. Now Nader does excellently to find Wakuri, the goal scorer for Japan. And he drives, and back goes Varun with an important touch. Nader into the 23. Japan causing problems. Penalty corner again for Japan. And we know what happened last time. Japan are getting rare opportunities forward, but Siegfried Ekman's men are making them count.
Well, he attacks the circle, the ball goes off Surinder stick, and now look at Gurinder pushing it. There was no point in doing that. Just get behind the line of the ball. Let him come towards you. You go to him, you shove him, and you give a penalty corner in the last minute.
Smile
of
on
the
Siegfried Aikman's face.
quarter.
31 caps for Gurinder. He was exposed there and couldn't deal with the pace of the Japanese. Now Srijesh has to think about Zendana and Yamada. Zendana on the right, Yamada on the left. Two castles, two stoppers for Japan. Goes to the one on the right. Zendana comes in, slips it. Yamada. No, he's missed it. It's called as dangerous.
Well, nice backdoor pass. Commits the first wave and looking for a flick, but the second wave early in line hits his body. And Nipah blows for a dangerous play. But the execution was good. The entire ploy was really nice, creating the space away from the first wave.
Jarmanpreet in towards Mandip, does magnificently to get his feet out the way, tries to throw the ball into Dilpreet, but Japan once more, and Yaneda once more can break, and Hardik had to be on his A-game there to get the ball out of play.
Well, definitely both teams actually showing some good defensive style. Hardik had to block that ball, otherwise get all the space down the line free.
Akashdeep dropping 14 seconds. What can India generate from here? All the way over. Long ball, it's bouncing. Where was Yoshikawa going? The Japanese goalkeeper was miles away from the net. And India are going to run out of time at the end of quarter number 2 at half-time. Shota Yamada's team have pegged India back here with a goal from Wakuri from one of the smoothest penalty corners we've seen in the 9 days of competition we've had so far. Gurjan got India off and running here in the second semi-final of the Hero Asia Champions Trophy 2018. It's India 1, Japan 1. Welcome back to the Eurasian Champions Trophy of Hockey 2018. Muscat, Oman has been an excellent host of this event. We're at the second semi-final stage, and the shape of the game: India 1, Japan 1. Gurjant Singh on 19 minutes with a sublime finish on the tomahawk into the bottom right-hand corner. Wakuri then with one of the best penalty corners you'll see all week in response for Japan. Harmanpreet couldn't affect the scoreline that time.
Well, you know, this ball is played really well by Gurjant. Gets that ball, hits it onto an on-rushing goalkeeper. This is the time you've got to move the goalkeeper when the goalkeeper is closing you down. He's online, and the ball hits him on the body. One more step forward, and he would have had an open net.
Well, India carried on forward. Dilpreet into Mandeep, who was threatening throughout the half. He couldn't quite get that shot on target. Jarmanpreet once more getting forward for India. His reverse stick cross flashed across the goal, and then Nilakanta with the top edge.
Well, again here it is a question of soft hands and tapping that ball instead of taking a wild swing.
Harmanpreet played it into the top of the D. Now it was as if Gurjant was listening to Cedric, because Cedric said, "Step one more step to the left. It'll open the goal up." It did just that, but he also hit the ball across the goalkeeper and made it 1-0 to India. Yoshikawa had to be aware of Dilpreet's effort, because this was going to sneak in the left-hand upright as Yoshikawa looked. And then Japan came back.
Well, a fantastic precision pass and a perfect deflection by Wakuri. The execution all around, brilliant. Diving on his nose to deflect in.
The score 1-1. Shot 7 for India, 2 for Japan. 14 circle entries for India, just the 2 for the Japanese. But from that, they created penalty corners on both occasions, and India 74% possession in Japan's half. We're going to now hear from Siegfried Aikman, the coach, Japan.
Siegfried, 1-1 at half-time. I'm watching your bench. There's smiles. There's some confidence. Your thoughts on that first half?
Well, we play like we wanted to play. We know what India can do. We will not fall in the same trap 3 times. So we prepared ourselves well and try to play to our possibilities. This is what we can. They are a better team, but we have the fighting spirit, and we will fight till we die.
I understand there's fight and there's energy, but tactically, do you want to see anything different from your team?
No, I think that we do it tactically very well. I would see more pressure on the build-up, but we deliberately let them come to get space to counter-attack, and we don't want them to enter the D with the hard balls, and that's the only thing they can do. At this moment, they have no way that they enter the D others than hitting the ball hard in the D, and we are prepared for that.
Certainly looks like you are. Good luck in the second half.
Well, if it goes like this, I would be happy, but you never know in sports, and India is a better team. So we will have to work hard. Discipline should be okay, but we do what we will do, okay?
Thanks very much.
We'll have to work hard. We'll have to be disciplined, was what Siegfried Aikman said. Japan know that they will have to keep pace with India in this second half. Let's hear what Harinder Singh's got to say.
Harry, 1-1 at half-time, lots of opportunities, but just one breakthrough. What would you like to see change in the second half?
I want to be more disciplined, strong receiving, and just push the ball slightly height on the this thing. We are playing too much of softball inside the circle when we receive the ball. I want the players to receive very strong and just hold the ball and the forehand and just push the ball inside the circle in 17 inch.
That's what we'll look for. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're back underway here. Krishan Patak is just making sure he is on his toes in the Indian goal. He's just come on for Sri Jesh at half-time. Both teams have, of course, their referral left available in this game. Back it goes, and India happy just to recycle the ball. Gurinder. Harmanpreet was right. Chingling Sana gets it, and very sloppy and controlled in the centre from Chingling Sana. Somehow gets away with it as well.
Well, the first touch wasn't really strong, and he gets that ball and deflects off his stick.
And this ball forward finds Akashdeep, who tries to dance his way down the left-hand side of the D. Wins it back. Very good work back from the number 27. Otajit just shadowing his man.
Well, Akashdeep has shown a lot of forward progress in the last couple of years, and this tournament he's shown he's a provider, he's a goal scorer, and at times he's strong on the ball and he re-tackles, gets back in defense as quickly as possible.
He started, of course, in the Hockey India League at Delhi, 3 seasons, your club, then, or your franchise, then moved on $84,000 in 2016 for UP. Did it affect him at all? Did you feel that he changed his game at all, moving from Delhi to UP?
Well, I think it happens to most of the players when they have a high price tag. The expectations on them are very high, and that puts a lot of pressure. And if they miss a few, then there's more added pressure. It happened to Mandeep, it happened to Akashdeep.
Sumit very much in a battle in midfield.
It happened to Tom Boone also. The only player who actually managed that very well was Morris Fuster.
Tom Boone, of course, first season from memory went for $100,000 and bagged something like, and I'm racking my brains here, 1 goal for the whole competition. And Cedric's just confirmed that. Dabang Mumbai.
Now that wasn't a penalty corner, which was a strength. It was a tip and ball.
Japan have the ball on the right-hand side. Yamada, long aerial. Gurinder misses it completely, and Harmanpreet knows it's come off Gurinder, and a long corner goes Japan's way. I said misses it completely. It took an edge through the slips for 4. Genki Matani talking about the number 4. Restarts, lifts the ball into Hardik, and advantage is allowed to play. It was lifted dangerously into Hardik, but the umpire was happy that it hadn't hurt the Indian player, and he had the advantage. Lovely pickup from Yamasaki, and now Japan can come forward. Matsumoto into the side, netting, and Krishan Patak on his guard.
Well, again, Steely attacks the circle, and just look at Kodajit here. Gets low, covering the line, which is towards the second post. That is great defensive skills.
Gurinder into Chingling Sana, and again, just the touch of Chingling Sana, letting him down. Not really under as much pressure as I think he thought he was under. There were players near him, Cedric, but not right on him, not pushing him around or anything.
I think you take your eye off the ball, and that's what happens normally when you lose possession.
Harmanpreet finds surrender down on this right-hand side. He just drops it back into the ice-cool Harmanpreet in the centre. Gurjant, rangy. Shot to Yamada, powerful. Yamada wins the 50-50. There are key battles on the pitch this evening between these two teams, and it will be key battles like Yamada against Gurjant that make the difference and allow one of these two teams to make yet another final.
Well, it's Gurjant's skill against the robust man-to-man marking of Shota Yamada. He's shown a lot of character in this tournament. A strong lad who sticks to you. Doesn't give you the space that you really want.
Harmanpreet. Slightly indecisive there from him, and then just playing the ball off the end of the pitch.
It was a nice pass by Nilakanta, but look at Harmanpreet. He's looking for a movement by the strikers. Nobody's moving, and that's why the ball moves up and the gaps are closed down. You have to move when you to allow the ball carrier an option to pass.
India pick up the ball in the bottom corner. Akashdeep racing across. Harmanpreet eyes up this time again, just slightly indecisive in where he was going to go. No pre-scan really.
Well,
explain, Cedric, what I mean by pre-scan.
Well, before the ball comes to you, you're already looking up forward and knowing exactly where to play that pass. So it's an early ball that you play. But every time Harmanpreet gets the ball, there is actually no movement, especially in the build-up. So the question is, move strikers or move midfielders, create the space.
The Asian Games gold medalists, Japan, against the bronze medalists from that competition in Jakarta. Of course, also India, the Champions Trophy. Silver medalist from this year. Oh, Chingling Sana got clattered there by Seren Tanaka. In fact, it's not Seren Tanaka, I apologise to him, it's Taguru Hoshi.
Well, you know, Dan, people keep asking the question of, you know, he's pushing, but if you play the ball through a player, the player can't dissolve into thin air. He's going to be there, he's going to hold his ground.
Jarmanpreet knew where Matsumoto was. That was better from him. Knew where the player was, knew where Harmanpreet was. 1-1 the score. Welcome along if you just joined us. It's 8 minutes 23 left in the third quarter. India in the blue, Japan in the red. It is, of course, the Hero Asian Champions Trophy Hockey 2018. Flashed across, and Yoshikawa flipping the ball away with his boot. Now Akashdeep pulls it back, tries to find the boot of a Japanese player, can't do so.
Well, one of the rules when you are in the defense, you look at that crush ball coming in. Goalkeeper does really well. Yoshikawa does very well to kick it on the bounce, out of the circle, so there's no dangerous play.
Lalit around the 5-metre dotted circle outside of the circle itself. Lovely ball from Harmanpreet. Eventually, India have to settle for the long corner.
Well, the ball played across from there, and look at the Japanese defenders all catching that line to the hot line. No Indian player actually posting up or making a movement, waiting behind the defenders.
Mitani. We've got 22 minutes left for these two to break this deadlock at 1 apiece. Otherwise, it's the second shootout of the evening. There's the 5th, 6th place playoff confirmation. 3-1 to Korea, Pakistan. Then after a thriller, an 8-goal thriller here in Muscat, went through 3-1 on the shootout. Manpreet barging into the back of the Japanese player, who is calm in his delivery of the ball out and then loses it. Wakuri. Japan ball. We have still and calm for a moment.
Well, Manpreet actually sees space. He tries to attack that space, but the Japanese defense, they're doing it actually very well. One comes forward, one covers the space, so you're actually going through layers of Japanese defenders to try and break into the circle.
It's good from Japan. In and out quickly. Oh, poor then as Achai was coming across. He didn't really want the ball. He knew there was pressure on him. Hardik from this famous family of Indian hockey players. All through from Harmanpreet again. He's just too good. Akashdeep around Kurashita, pulls it back. Nilakanta too far, gave enough to Ozawa. There's a man down in the far corner. Akashdeep's gone over to check he's okay.
Well, Nilakanta goes past the first one. Look at the defense of Japanese players. They move up forward quickly when they see us free. A player trying to attack that space, they move up forward to take the tackle, and that was number 16 for Ozawa, who does a great job when his player in front is beaten.
Kurashita, 19-year-old, who's down on the ground. Played in Darwin recently for Japan, subbing 4 matches there. Japan finished 4th. And of course came here back in, earlier this year, in February. Won a triangular tournament with Oman and Pakistan. There's confirmation of the Indian goal scorer Gurjant Singh. Wakuri got Japan back on level terms.
Well, he's trying to do the 3D skills here, and I think on that situation, I think he's holding the Japanese player's stick before not allowing him to tackle, and it's a foul given against him.
Down the line it goes. Inside and clipped up by Chingling Sana. Again, just slightly off on his touch. Varun Aerial ball, Jarmanpreet is easily beaten to that, and it was rather a wasteful ball. Jarmanpreet annoys the umpire.
You know, Dan, you talked about the Japanese team's patience, you know, and they've done a brilliant job in the first two quarters for half-time. But now it's the question of, can they sustain that discipline right through, put a little more pressure on India, as Siegfried Eichmann said. They are just giving them too much, not putting too much pressure on them. So that's critical for them, because otherwise the crash balls will come in.
The danger for India is the more they flood forward in search of this second goal, the more wary they need to be of Japan, who, as we may see here, can be lethal on the counter. But then Chingling-sana can go with a counter-attack of his own. It flashes up, and reverse stick hit away for Japan. Fortunate for them there. India 68% possession in the Japanese half.
Well, that's India at its best. You find the space, you attack that space, some turnover, move into attack quickly, but great hands in the circle by Shota Yamada to deflect that ball high outside on the reverse.
Yaneda. Jarmanpreet dangling his stick. Yaneda just gives Hoshi a lot to do to get the ball. And then Seren Tanaka, good tackle from Varun Kumar, who wanted the ball to go his way. It wasn't going to.
Well, they're hunting in packs. You look at them, one Japanese player, 3 Indian players putting pressure.
Jarmanpreet inside, Chingling-sana misses out, and Matsumoto thinks it was his ball. It wasn't. Words between him and Jarmanpreet.
Well, Jarmanpreet's stick tackle was really soft and strong, and immediately it went off the foot.
Jarmanpreet eyes up immediately. Sorry, Gurinder eyes up immediately. Manpreet.
Yes.
Still going, trying to find a way around Mitani. Manpreet then crashes the ball in. Yoshikawa was equal to that. Mandeep, I think, is asking for a referral. Oh no. Sumit being told off for pushing. Inside his Japanese marker, long corner to India. Penalty corner. Mandeep in the middle for Jarmanpreet, and Jarmanpreet does enough. Harinder Singh likes it.
Well, the whole transfer of the ball from one side of the pitch right across, played along the baseline. Jarmanpreet commits the player, engages the player, finds a foot, and a penalty corner. The whole movement, the transfer of the ball from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, and then attacking the baseline was actually what caused that Japanese player to catching him in no man's land for a penalty corner.
Ricky Tamura was man of the match against Pakistan, but there couldn't get his feet out the way. Jarmanpreet's off, so it's Varun who waits at the top of the deep. Has he got enough firepower here? Out it comes from Manpreet. It is Varun. Oh, deflection, and it's gone into the roof of the net. Chingling-sana running in. We've seen that once in the competition already. And India are into a 2-1 lead. And the Indian fans, the local Oman Corps team in the orange in the stands, look delighted.
Well, the execution is brilliant. You look at the way Varun plays that ball, just near the penalty spot, beats the second wave. Chingling-sana sneaks in behind the second wave and deflects that ball brilliantly past the goalkeeper's head into the roof. The execution was perfect, and Chingling-sana getting in front of his marker, getting in front of the second wave was what was actually top-notch.
Well, he did it against Oman, and he's done it again this evening. Exactly the same goal, a carbon copy, reverse. Not the easiest to do, to get there and deliver to that level. And it was just too good. Japan, no answer from the penalty corner. Ishikawa beaten. Dilpreet gets the free hit. Rakuri penalised. What's Japan's response? No doubt Siegfried Ekman will be plotting something. 1 minute 6 to go in the third. It is, of course, the Eurasian Champions Trophy of Hockey 2018 here in Muscat, Oman. The first time that Oman has had the pleasure of being the host of a competition of this level. Dilpreet this way, that way. Picks it up against his opposite number, Riku Tamura. Drills the ball across, and Shota Yamada says thank you very much.
The ball by Dilpreet played across the goal mouth. You look at Shota Yamada there, he could have actually gone towards the great skill coming in there. And he plays that ball across. And if you look at Mandeep gets in front of his marker, but Shota Yamada man on man on Akashdeep and doesn't allow him to get a shot at goal.
Manpreet tries to find a way around Kenji Kitazato. Instead gets the sideline ball for India. Manpreet now on, it misses him and goes to surrender. Well, knowing that time is up, he aimed for Dilpreet and Mandeep. Dilpreet says, I wanted it earlier. Manpreet looks tired to me, although he knows he's in at the India huddle. Well, India back into the lead. Chingleng Sana with a deflection to make it 2-1. This semi-final is finally poised. It's India 2, Japan 1 here in Muscat. Well, let's have a look at the highlights from the third quarter. Japan managing to flood forward. Matsumoto into the side netting. Krishan Patak had only just come on at that point, the young Indian goalkeeper. Manpreet flashing across, and Yoshikawa giving away the long corner as Mandeep raced in. And then Varun Kumar low. Chingleng Sana on the reverse stick, as he's done so many times before, including this week against Oman. Well, Siegfried Ekman will be hoping his team can get back at least on level terms here. He knows how good his team are in knockout competition. They won the Asian Games. Chris Sorello on the left-hand side of Virendra Singh doing all the talking.
Well, you know, we talked about that in terms of, no, it's Sorello who does the talking for the strikers, and Harinder does the talking for the defense. And that's why sometimes you see him talking when the camera comes on to them. But basically they share it and they pass on the information.
Chris Sorello was a defender for the Australian national team, and a fantastic drag flicker to boot. The two teams are back and ready to go. The last quarter is underway. India all in blue, Japan in the red, and it is currently 2-1 to India. Both teams still have their referral. Akashdeep again, picking up deep, again turns. Back it goes to Harmanpreet. Jarmanpreet has gone very wide and very high for India. They go inside to Varun, whose drag flick set up the goal for Chingleng Sana. Surrender, trying to find a way around Shota Yamada, who is an excellent player on this Japanese team.
Well, Darren, when the overlapping defenders move up into attack and get into the deep zones, the important thing is the counter control. Because if you lose that ball, somebody has to cover up the middle of the park in the defense. Both teams are doing it very well so far.
Surrender down the left-hand side. Yamada again, not diving and taking a superb tackle. The timing from Yamada there, absolutely sublime. Aerial from him. Harmanpreet drops back, soft hands from him to take the ball down, and Jarmanpreet can look inside. Manpreet under pressure, two players on him. Manpreet composed. Jarmanpreet steps Seren Tanaka. Again, indecisive from Jarmanpreet. Rather poor from Jarmanpreet there. Yamasaki did well. Matsumoto again playing very well this evening. Here he is finding the boot of Manpreet. Play on, says the umpire. Jarmanpreet comes back, and then Nilakanta Sharma finds Dilpreet down the right-hand side. Genki Matani, Cedric, using his years of experience against the young Indian forward.
Yeah, he's also doing it, you know, he runs in front of him and then he doesn't push him, doesn't jab him, just takes the ball very cleanly. As you said, experience over youth. And ball from Zendana.
What a way to Manpreet, who opens up the pitch for Nilakanta. His ball down the line is bouncy, but Dilpreet relishes with that sort of ball and get the free hit as Nilakanta, who's actually going to come and take this one. They have to move it 5 before playing it into the circle, which is why India have dropped it so deep. Akashdeep, poor from him. Yamada waits to throw the aerial. Jarmanpreet can just watch this drift out of play.
Well, talking about the aerials, you know, whenever you try and throw the aerial, you got to play it behind the defender to the spaces that are available so that the strikers or whoever it is can attack that space.
Nilakanta. Space opened up, Genki Matani just stepped across and shut the door.
He's had a really good game. He's get some fantastic tackles, interceptions, anticipates the ball really well, the captain of the Japanese team, Mitani Genki. See, this for me is a wasted ball. The ball lifted into the opposition. The defense is standing. You've got to play it behind it.
And from Akashdeep, oh, the ball was the right one. Gurjant didn't continue his run.
Well, it wasn't only Gurjant, it was also Manpreet. He should have been running for that ball. Both of them leading inwards with a lovely weighted pass.
Well, Gurjant has floated in and out of this game tonight, but his goal was absolutely taken after having a sighter a few minutes earlier. And again, steps across. Once the ball, doesn't get it from Surrender. Jarmanpreet. Akashdeep. The hands are so silky on Akashdeep. Yeah, that Cedric enjoys watching. Hashi brings it away, but now Lalit has the chance for India. Sneaks it through Hardik and it's just stolen off his stick as he was looking to get control by Ohashi.
Well, we picked about Ohashi being a great defender, and look, he keeps his ground there from a ball that was played by Akashdeep, waiting for a ball to be thrown inwards diagonally, a 45-degree angle pass. Ohashi covers the ground quickly, extends his sticks and takes that ball away. Really nice, really, really nice. Covering the zones really well.
In this quarter, Japan have again changed their goalkeeper. So Suki Takano is the man between the sticks for Japan currently. Harmanpreet. Harmanpreet waiting on the right-hand side. A mixed game for him this evening. Aerial ball is dealt with brilliantly down in the bottom corner. Kotajit. Japan again can look to find space down the right-hand side. Hoshi, the man standing over the ball.
Well, Dan, you know, Japan is 2-1 down. They're going to push up forward, and that'll be just the opportunity the Indians need to play on the break.
So Tanaka runs it out of play.
Japan will have to commit numbers up forward to try and get a goal.
Again, Chingling Sana, first touch, pops up in the air. His first touch tonight has not been of the level that you expect from such a high-class and long-standing international player. Gurinder wins the long corner. We have 7:56 left. The umpire's whistle blows and India have to reset their press. Japan have the ball.
Well, as soon as India loses the ball, or as a build-up or a free hit from Japan, the first thing the Indian strikers do is get back in defence. Some put pressure, the midfield gets back in defence. They're more in numbers at the back.
Into that time from Chingling Sana, moved on quickly by Gurinder, who has played well this evening for his team. Hardik, nice from him. Chingling Sana, oh, indecisive again, and manages though to win the free hit. Hardik looks to find Jarmanpreet, but he's given a telling off by the umpire for not stopping the ball. Varun crashes it to Jarmanpreet. He runs into the flat stick, and that was only ever going to go one way.
Well, that's what you call copybook defending. Spinning off, but keeping his stick low, doesn't come too great, waits for the angle, keeps his body low, and gets the ball. Not just throwing the stick, but keeping the angles, keeping the engaging angles very well.
Sumit didn't quite hold on to the ball and offers Japan a chance. Where can they find an equaliser from Japan? Can the Asian Games gold medalists? They finished in silver position in the Eurasian Champions Trophy of 2013, losing to Pakistan in the final. Pakistan are into their 5th consecutive final. It has very much been the tournament that they managed to shine in recent times for Pakistan, but they will be taking their place in Bhubaneswar at the World Cup in a month's time. That's tomorrow, of course, until it gets underway. Chai loses out now. Akashdeep into the top of the D. Lovely spin, lovely turn, and it's in from Dilpreet. What a finish that is. Dilpreet once more onto the score sheet, and he seems, well, has he done enough for India here? Has he sealed the deal?
Well, Akash's ball is sublime, perfect pass. Dilpreet actually turns, spins, goalkeeper opens up his legs, and the ball crashes through the gate. The most important thing there was the movement of Dilpreet. Moves just a couple of meters across to the right and flicks that ball down hard. Ball goes right through the goalkeeper, who had completely moved to one side and couldn't shut his legs in fast enough. But the pass from Akashdeep, absolutely great.
His 5th goal of the competition. Dilpreet also, just note if India do make the final, knows how to score against Pakistan. He scored in the pool stages as India won 3-1. Manpreet's given the first, Mandeep got the second definitely, although Mandeep did afterwards claim he got a touch on the first Manpreet's goal, and to be honest, in certain angles it looked absolutely definite that Mandeep got a touch. Other angles was inconclusive. Manpreet's way though. 59% possession for Japan. Sorry, for India. Japan now have to chase the game very much. Good hands into the... Oh, that's horrible! Penalty corner. Makuri, well, cutting from both sides, the Indian defenders. They deem not to have taken the ball. Lovely hands, Makuri.
Fantastic strength on the ball. So many defenders pushing pressure on him. Does really well to earn that penalty corner. Look at the amount of Indian defense. And the ball just goes onto the body and a penalty corner.
When I say that's horrible, I meant Sumit there. Gurinder took the ball very well. Sumit from behind, cutting down onto Rakuri. To right, hurrying. And up here, green card showed to Seren Tanaka. In fact, it's Yamasaki for not being ready. He said number 5, let's go, and then changed his mind because it was Yamasaki who actually came out to pull out, and now Japan have to rethink. Genki Mitani is going to take the responsibility. Shota Yamada on the right-hand side. He's the number 25. Zendana's the number 29. Both have form from the top of the D. It is Zendana, and it's in as well. That has beaten Christian Patak. The crowd falls silent here. And Japan, with 4 minutes 50 left to go, are back in the game.
Well, they moved the castle to the center and played that ball past the goalkeeper on the left-hand side, between the goalkeeper and the postman Surinder.
Well, India are referring this. If they don't get the call, Zendana has made it 2 apiece.
Checking now.
Okay.
Japan, of course, have just 10 players on the pitch after Yamasaki was green carded.
Well, they were actually saying whether the ball went out of the circle. For me, the ball went across the line. We'll look at it from another angle. It's out of the line, so definitely out of the circle.
Peter, can you hear me?
Yes.
There is no reason to change your decision. It's a goal and India lose their referral.
Goal and India lose their referral. Well, Dilpreet's goal is all that stands at the moment between these two teams. It's 3-2 India. India lose the referral. Zendana has brought it back to just 1 the difference now.
Well, Dan, look at that flick. It goes past the left-hand side of the postman Surinder, who comes up forward into the side netting.
Down the line it goes, picked up by Dilpreet, cuts back inside. Mandeep trying to cause problems in the deep. Of course, that goal against Christian Patak, first time he's conceded in the competition. Well, first time he's conceded and it's actually stood, because there was a goal for Korea which didn't stand. Now, Nilakanta, can he pull it back? Yes, he can, but it just manages to zip away from Akashdeep. The whistle goes, India ball, 3-2, 3:45. Cedric, can India hold on from here? Lovely 3D skills from Akashdeep there, but hadn't gone 5 before he took it into the deep. High ball picked up by Harmanpreet. India, Matsumoto comes back and wins the ball, and then wins the free hit against Harmanpreet, who takes the ball out of play. Tanaka. Harmanpreet, very, very strong indeed there.
Well, this ball, you look at Nilakanta, it comes inside, the goalkeeper stays his ground. Not a single Japanese player comes forward. That is copybook defensive. Let the goalkeeper take the first man, and everybody marks the ball. Marks his man in around the goal. Super defending there.
Dilpreet runs past the ball as Hashi got in his way. Oh, Manpreet has to slam the anchors on there. Oh, what skill from Manpreet. Still going down the right-hand side. Long corner. Manpreet trying to find a way around the right-hand side.
Well, he gets that ball, he moves inside. Look at him, he just turns on the first one, beats 2 players, and now he still attacks the circle.
It comes. Play on, says the umpire. back from Hardy.
Dan, what's heartening to see is when they lose the ball as a turnover, the Indian youngsters or the Indian players actually keep pressure on that side itself. They don't allow the direct transfer to the opposite side, which can really open up the defense.
Kitazate. Of course, if India can hold on for the next 80 seconds, they still have the chance of that third ever Asian Champions Trophy victory. But of course, in their way, Pakistan, who into their 5th consecutive final, something that India can't claim. Pakistan have the chance of their 3rd as well. 2 gold, 2 silver for Pakistan. And of course had that 5th place finish in the competition. It'll be their 4th final in 5 attempts. Jarmanpreet, what a ball! But Dilpreet can't control.
Was fantastic communication when that ball was played to Jarmanpreet. Dilpreet already had his hands up in the air asking for that ball. Jarmanpreet played it quickly, didn't waste time, and opened up the entire defense.
Well, Japan do waste time as they play the ball off the side. Siegfried Aikman will be much happier. Yes, they've lost, or yes, they probably will lose here. He'll be happier with the performance, surely, and for him, it's all about performance going forward towards Tokyo 2020.
Well, definitely, you know, they lost 9-0 in the first game, and now it's just 3-2, which is really, really strong by Japanese. They played really well. They showed a lot of character and stuck to their plan. But India were the winners.
Well, there it is. Harinder Singh's team are into another Hero Asian Champions Trophy final. Great scenes between the players, consoling the Japanese players who were on the ground after working so hard. A fine game of hockey, a superb performance by many players. Wakuri, the goal scorer, was literally on the turf and was picked up off it by one of the Indian players, but at full time here in Muscat, India are into the final against Pakistan. It's India 3, Japan 2. Well, Cedric, we will have our first ever three-time Asian Champion Trophy winner. It will either be India or it'll be Pakistan. Gurjant with the opener into the bottom right-hand corner. A lethal finish. And Takano couldn't get near. What a comeback though by Japan, and Wakuri, that was a marvellous penalty corner.
Well, if you look at the position in the pass and playing it behind the defender for the nose, dive on the nose for a tip in by Wakuri. Really, really good stuff there.
And Preet flashed the ball across and it was clipped over by Japan. And then Varun, low, Chingling Sana, roof. And India back into the lead.
Well, you look at Chingling Sana, he gets in front, behind the wave, and then just gets in front of, deflects that ball. Precise pass, lovely angle of the stick into the roof.
Turn and the goal from Dilpreet, a player who plays above his years and now adds a 5th goal to his campaign here.
Well, for me, the goalkeeper has done much better than that. He was actually off balance.
But Japan never gave up. Zendana beating Krishan Patak for the first time in the competition. Japan back to 3-2.
Well, it goes past Surinder the postman and Krishan Patak, who didn't actually move fast enough. And the ball in the side netting.
India 9 shots, Japan 4, 27 circle entries to 5. Well, Japan, that is some statistic to get 4 shots from 5 entries, 67% possession in the opponent's half. For India, a quarter of their penalty corners were successful. Japan, it was 50%. Well, for Japan, it was a brave and valiant effort, but they don't make the final. Instead, it's India. We're now going to go to Simon Mason for the post-match presentation.